The next thing I want to talk about is ranges. Okay, it is important that you adjust your weapons according to the range. If you're using a weapon that's not appropriate to a range, I usually refer it as the mechanic go fix a house with mechanics tools and it's not going to work. Carpenter has his tools, mechanic has his tools. Same thing applies to ranges. If I'm in long range, I'm going to have to apply long range techniques. I'm not going to jump into it or launch myself to try to apply a short technique. Systematically, we can break the ranges into 3 ranges. Okay, long range, middle range, and close range. Okay, in the long range, you'll use your kicks and long punches. Okay, why I don't categorize range by kicking, punching, elbows and knees and clinch is because then people will refer it what tools I'm going by to attack with. You have to have a transition technique from range to range. In other words, long range, I'm starting off with my kicks or maybe extension weapons. In other words, maybe I have a knife and that gives me an extension, or projectiles, in other words, a gun. But when I close that long range to middle range, my long punches are my transition technique. I don't go, I'm kicking, let me get closer, now I'm punching. I'm going to overlap. It's important, just like the overlap principle, that you have a transition technique from range to range. So in the long range, I got the kick and the punch. Then I'm getting closer, obviously. Then I continue with my punches, and I'm transiting to elbows and knees. And then finally, you have the close range, is when you can grab or you can clinch 2 hands and bring him in. The close range includes stand-up and ground because your body is already on top of his body. Now, as a rule, we in Israel refer to the long range as the warm-up range. In other words, the closer you get, the more damage you can inflict. The bigger the range it is, unless it's a gun, the less damage is going to be, or the more skill you're going to have to be able to inflict damage. In other words, if I'm in long range, I got to be an exceptional kicker to be able to inflict damage. That's going to take a long time for me to develop those skills. Now, if you have the time, more power to you, go ahead and develop those skills. But what I'm saying is, the more effective weapons and the more damage you can do is in the close range. And that's why our point of reference in the Haganah system are close range. That's why I always want to get to one of those point of reference so I can inflict as much damage as possible. And again, when I'm up close, I'm not going to try to kick. I'm going to be jammed. I'm going to use my inside weapons, my elbows, my headbutt, my knees, my eye gouge. So I'm adjusting my weapons to long range, middle range, close range with transition weapons in between.